Hello, I'm Robert, and you're always welcome here at my busy little shop. On today's episode, What's on My Workbench? I'm working on some belts. I was recapping in my mind the live stream we had the other day, and if you missed that, I'll put a link to that in the video description. But there were some questions there, and it really got me thinking, and I'd seen some conversation lines on Facebook and different places such as that, and it really was based on the fact of, or the question of, how much space do you need to start your leathercraft hobby? And I'll twist it to just say a leathercraft business. How much space do you really need to have that to create the leathercraft? So I know a lot of times I've had some visitors to my shop before, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you had a bigger place than that." So I'm going to back you up here. Why don't you move yourself back some here? And we'll talk a little bit about, there you go. So there's another view of the space here. Hang on a second. Okay, so now you're going to say, well, it's a huge space. Well, the camera angle has a lot to do with it. It's basically in one bay of a two-car garage, and you really don't even need that much space. Up until probably 2 years ago, I didn't have this cut table here, and my fancy cut table here is just two sawhorses with a sheet of plywood ripped in half lengthways stacked up, and it really helps. Before that, I would take the green mat, go in on the tile floor in the house. I could do it on the garage floor, but track dirt in and stuff. And so anyway, I would take it in there and cut it there. Hang on a second. So here is my garage space. I have a 2 foot by, I think that's 4 foot rolling baker's rack that I keep the leather on. I just store it in the boxes that it comes in. It helps me because if you remember, I move my shop twice a year. I have the 2 roll around or 3 roll around items here. Only 2 of them are currently on wheels, and that is the Cobra 26 and the NP4 Skyver and the sander burnisher there. And I've got the 2 workbenches. In actuality, all I really need is the 1 workbench. But you know, if you've got stuff, you're going to spread it out. That's my story anyway. And typically, I do all of my tooling, cutting here, mounting hardware, that type of thing. I've got a stitching pony here that was a gift from one of my viewers, Howling Wolf Leather, gave me that. He made it himself. And then I typically use this table over here. If I'm not using it to collect clutter, I use that when I'm doing my finishes on it there, if I need to put clear finishes on and such. The rack here works really good for hanging belts in progress. Actually, I have 1, 2, 3 belts here that are totally finished. This last one I need to put a little bit of resin on. But I would tell you that really you can do it. I know a lot of people do off of a kitchen table. Less than ideal, I'll admit that. It's nice to have this space here. And I come in and out of the house and work on this throughout the day. There are times I'll spend all day there at the bench, and other times I'm wandering around mowing the lawn or doing what, you know, the normal stuff everybody else does when they're retired. Let me get back over here. I'm working on a belt here. It's going to be shipped north of the border. Leather has been cased, so I'm going to be really careful not to put too big of a mark on here. I'll fold back on the buckle end. And I don't know if I told you, this is the Woodsman. And I know a lot of people will tool the complete thing. That's just not my style of belt. I do that if someone asks for it. But other than that, I usually start about 4 or 4.5 inches from the buckle end, and I finish 4 or 4.5 inches from the adjustment hole that wearer is going to use. And then I'll just find my center point here. Just a light scribe through here. I come from both sides, so if I have any variation in width on this hand cut belt strap, that I can center off of one line, or if there's two lines parallel to each other. And then I'll just run this stamp down through there. But one of the things that made me think of this topic was a question about setting up for my first booth space. And I was talking about how simple the booth was the first time I set up. And it was a very simple booth. I had just a very small table. I had, I think, 5 belts of different designs that I had made or was in the progress of making. And then I had some pictures of those belts. But my point is, if you're waiting until you get the ideal space, the ideal time, the ideal everything, then probably nothing will ever happen. So I would tell you to start where you're at and move forward. And I had a gentleman that I worked for years. His name was Doug. And he said that you can get balled up in trying to make decisions, one based on the other. In other words, well, you know, I know what I would do if I knew what the answer was to this question over here. And he's like, well, when are you going to know the answer to that? Well, probably won't be until the end of the week. He's like, well, by the end of the week, there'll be another problem there. He says, what you need to do is just make the best choice or decision each day that you're presented with business decisions. And I would say it's the same with this. Now, I wouldn't say to go off half-cocked and start a business. You need to have given that thought. But if Leathercraft is going to be a hobby business or a hobby, either one, and it's what you want to do, I would tell you to jump in and see where it goes from there. But I just thought of that yesterday and this morning when I was recapping in my mind the conversation that we had on that live stream. I always enjoy the live streams, and I enjoy the conversation that I end up getting into with people through their comments, questions, and thoughts. Let me move you around. Maybe you get a better view of this. This is live oak leather from Traditions Leathercraft. I'm having to work on both sides of you guys. Got your head right in the way there. I have to lean around to see this other angle. This is the double axe head tool from Barry King. And it's size number 2, I believe. You can purchase it in a single axe or a double axe format. And this is the single of the next smaller one, the number 1. You can see what I mean by a single or a double. I'm sorry, no, this is the same one, the same size. I guess when I bought one smaller because when I've been asked to put this pattern on an 1 1/4 belt, it seems a little crowded. So this is just slightly smaller than the other one. I purchased that to be able to use there. Well, there you go, all tooled up. I'll let this dry out, and I misspoke a little while ago. This one here is staying in the neighborhood. This is going to get dyed to golden brown. I've got one just like this, a little bit longer. It's going to get dyed to black. That one's going north of the border. So my point of the video today, and I hope that my videos encourage you to get out and chase and do what it is that you've been wanting to do. And I know that kind of sounds vague, but maybe you want to be a basket maker or a woodworker or a wood carver or a blacksmith. Whatever it is, take some of those first steps. And even if it's just taking a class, in the leather world, there's several shows that come up a year. There's one coming up here in August in Waco, Texas, and you can go down and you can take a class. I'm sure that a lot of them are booked up, but there's probably still some classes available there. And there are classes at your local Tandy store and things such as that. But if you think Leathercraft's where you want to go, get out there and give it a try. And I try to show you, it doesn't take a whole lot of space. I could do it all right here. The sewing machine and the NP4 skiver, the sander burnisher are definitely not must-haves to get started and to experiment and find out if it's a hobby you like. And I've done videos before, or created videos before, to show you how few tools you really need to go buy or purchase to start your, I don't know, maybe it's belts that you want to make. You can go to a lot of the websites and buy yourself some belt straps, and you can get into it really pretty simply. But just beware, it's a rabbit hole of tools and different avenues and different ideas and thoughts on how to, create whatever leathercraft item that you might end up chasing. I enjoy the belts more than anything, and this has been really a good month for me. I've stayed busy with belt orders that came in before the 4th of July and then over the 4th of July sale. You saw a selection of them up here on the wall. And the other thing is there that build it and they will come. Just because you make 20 belts doesn't mean you're going to find a market for those right away. It took me quite a few years to develop a base of customers. And I said before, a lot of them are repeat orders that I get, or they are really, I come highly recommended. In what I mean by that is, someone will send a friend of theirs to go look at my belts, and they've already, I think, in most ways talked me up. Otherwise, why would you send your friend to me if you didn't, weren't getting talked up a little bit there? I delivered a couple of belts earlier today, and the lady said, I'm into belts. If you come up with a new design, be sure to send me some photos of that. And it's fun to get into that mix of it there. But it takes time to get there. I talked to a young man, and he was on the coast, the Atlantic coast there in North Carolina, and he said that based off of some of my earlier videos of making totes in that market, he's known as the tote guy, which is really cool, especially if you enjoy doing it. And I don't mind making totes. I could get into making totes. It's the other things, purses with a bunch of pockets and wallets and stuff that I struggle with. But anyway, I wanted to keep this as a short video today, and I'm stretching those bounds. I appreciate you spending time with me in the shop today. Please like, share, and subscribe. And more importantly, I hope you have a great day. And go ahead, jump in. Find yourself a new hobby to enjoy.